Okay, well, welcome everybody. I'm not sure why we had no audio on the opening there. It looked like it had all the levels were moving up and down, but for some reason. Anyway, welcome. Welcome to Ink and Paint, everyone. Thank you all for joining us on this Monday night. Much appreciated. I am here with my co host, Ashley Jasmer, and
Hey.
I am here with our illustrious panel, Shannon
Hi, friends.
and Stephanie.
Hi, everybody.
So, welcome everybody. Tonight we are talking about the holidays at Disney. So, all of the awesome things that entails because Disney seems to really enjoy doing up the holidays. It takes over everything all around every park. It takes over all the resorts. It takes over springs. It takes over everything. And I think the nice thing about Christmas and like the winter holiday season for me is that it actually seems to last a reasonable amount of time at Disney. Unlike, it's weird because I feel like Halloween never ends for what is like one day and like, I don't know, not an entirely widely celebrated thing. And then you go into Christmas and you actually get like, 7 weeks maybe. And they do have the parks, everything changes in the beginning of November, and then Christmas and the holidays happen, and then everything wraps up and goes back to normal in January. So I like that it gives you enough time to sort of ramp up the mood for the holidays without feeling like it never ever ends. But so I want to kind of start off by going around and seeing what like everybody's favorite thing about the holidays at Disney is. Is it what they do in the parks? Is it the decorations? Is it the shows? Is it like family memories? What are sort of your favorite things? So Ashley, I'll kick it over to you first.
Um, for me, it would definitely be mainly, I would say, the decorations. And I feel like the thing that makes it great is there seems to be a lot of cute little touches. I know and I know a lot of people have loved the punching up that they've done for the decorations at studios since Toy Story opened. Although, if memory serves, I don't think they put out decorations in Toy Story Land this year. Correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously I haven't been, but I love the Christmas decorations because the fall decorations are great, but they really do go the extra mile with the Christmas decorations. And with that being said, the ginger houses are some of my favorite. I love going to visit them when I can make it down on the holiday season, because they're just such a neat addition to all of the resorts that get them. And I just love going around and seeing them and how they're different each year, but still feel really familiar. And it's a great tradition to have.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that, you know, I love resort hopping. I think it's always fun to like go see what's happening at different resorts, enjoy the different restaurants and lounges and shopping and just sort of taking in the theming of all the Disney resorts, but then you put the holidays on top of it and you've got all of this like extra bonus stuff that gives you a whole new reason to go visit them all over again. How about you, Shannon? What are your favorites?
Yeah, that was actually going to be what I was going to say is that the resorts get their own special Christmas decorations and they're not standard Christmas decorations. They're themed to the resorts. And beyond that, they've done a really great job over the last few years enhancing that experience. So not only do you go to the beach club and see the gingerbread carousel, but they put up like a little pop-up shop in the lobby where they sell, gingerbread and various treats. I know my sister just bought last month a little fudge sample pack, holiday flavors, and she said it was phenomenal. So, like you said, it gives you more reason to go out and explore these resorts. Something that I want to do on any trip, whether it's the holidays or not. But this is a little extra touch that makes you really want to go see these resorts and explore.
Yeah, I wound up at Beach Club the other day and like I just passing through and I was like, "Oh, right, the carousel." And like it was like I stopped and like had to watch it for a while and like loved everybody standing around and taking all the pictures and that coupled with like all the rest of the holiday decorations inside Beach Club. Like just I didn't expect to like want to stop there for a moment and just take it all in like while I my plan was to go do something else, and there it was. And I was like, oh, right, I get to like enjoy this too. It's really nice. How about you, Stephanie? What are your favorites?
I I echo all of those sentiments. I love each and every resort, and like you said, Shannon, how they're themed to the individual resort. We got to stay at the beach club for Christmas last year, and their decorations are lovely. The carousel wasn't there; they weren't doing the gingerbread, but I miss that, and that's one of the things that really is nostalgic to me. I got to stay at the Grand Floridian with my family when the first gingerbread house was created. And so, last year going back, it was sad not to have that, but they have it this year. So that's wonderful. It's come back in full force. So I love that. And I love how each resort has a gingerbread something. The Contemporary has it. The Contemporary usually, or Cinderella Castle one year, Mary Blair style, of course. But I love how there's so much to do in each park, not just the individual decorations are themed to the parks that you're in. Obviously, Hollywood Studios actually has one of my favorite displays. I love the retro look. The 1950 Santa Claus reminds me of my grandma's house. So I love that. But I love how there's so much to do during the holiday season. We actually, in 2018, we did the longest Disney trip we ever had, and I think it was 12 days. And we went from Halloween, so the last Halloween party, Mickey's Not So Scary, and then we stayed through the transition to the first Very Merry Christmas party. And that was phenomenal. So we had to do both parties and see that overnight transition. And it's just incredible how they can get so much done in just a few hours.
I'm kind of surprised actually that it took 12 days to go from the last Halloween party to the
Right?
first Christmas party, because I think
Oh,
it's this year the last Halloween party was on Halloween, I believe. It was October 31st, and then the first Christmas party was November 8th. So that's 9 days. So they definitely shortened that turnaround time since
no, you're
2018,
absolutely correct.
unsurprisingly. Yeah.
That actually was you are correct. I think it was the 31st, and then the 7th that year was the first Christmas party, but we stayed the weekend too. So
Okay.
we stayed a few
Yeah.
extra days.
That's still really
Yeah.
cool though. But that
No,
would, as
it's
somebody who's
fun to
not,
watch
would
that.
be neat to do.
Yeah, I like the transition. I like that sort of like little chaos period of when they tear everything down to when they put everything back up and you walk into the parks. And like this year, I went to Animal Kingdom like the first week of November and actually wasn't expecting the decorations to be up. And like I walked up to the entrance plaza and the tree was up. And I was like, because I feel like most years, I think DAC is the park that kind of gets done last in terms of all the Christmas decorations. So I wasn't expecting it. And I walked in, I'm like, oh my God, it's Christmas in Animal Kingdom. That's fantastic. So even that little surprise of like, you see it when you weren't expecting to see it is fun. I think my favorite, like if I had to pick one favorite thing, which is tough, but I really I love Epcot and not the Festival of the Holidays, but I wouldn't say like it's not like I don't love everything about Festival of the Holidays, but the thing I love the most is actually I think a thing a lot of people overlook and or don't really make time for, which is all the different little Christmas and holiday celebrations that they do in each of the countries. And so the one
Yes.
in Norway is my favorite, and it's the Barn Santa, and it's like this fun, mischievous little story where they come out and they're storytellers and everybody gathers around. And the one in Italy is gorgeous, and you've got like the story of the Epiphany, and that's like, and it's told like in such a fun, engaging way. They have really good actors who tell these stories. This year, the other day, I got to catch the musical performers at Canada, which is really fun because they're singing, Christmas and holiday songs, but they're wrapping it sort of in this tradition of like here are like the different cultural influences on Canada, and they kind of walk you through these songs and what parts and regions of Canada that you're likely to hear them singing, and the band is incredibly talented, and it was really wonderful. So I appreciate that they do all of these different things throughout Epcot and kind of make it not just about, it's not just another Epcot festival and you have candlelight processional, but you also have all of these other stories and performances that really try to tie you into what Epcot is all about. And I think it's probably the Epcot festival that I think is most like true to what World Showcase is supposed to be in terms of celebrating all of these different cultures. So I really love that about, but I love a million things about the holidays at Disney, but I think that might be my number one thing.
Yep.
I agree. I feel like
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Jill, I feel like the Festival of the Arts is my favorite festival, just in general. But I think Festival of the Holidays is right there, close second. Very, very hard to decide between because, like you said, the performers. I never got to do Candlelight Processional. I'd love to go back and be able to do that. They didn't have it last year, but the individual performers, and that's such it's like you said, it's for each in the country and the traditions of those countries. So it does bring that sense of worldly, exploration, especially to the kids, but they're using something that everybody knows as Santa, version of Santa throughout. And I just absolutely love that.
Yeah, I think it makes it really relatable. And like anytime I've ever watched one of these and there are kids watching, they get super engaged. Like even the band at Canada, it was adorable. There was this little girl that she was probably like 3 years old and she was just dancing in front of the stage like little kids do at, Disney performances. And the performers actually like called her out and were like, oh, she's dancing. She's so great. And it was really cute.
Aww.
So yeah, it's a very engaging story. I think all of them are really engaging stories, and I like the sort of like small gather around the fire kind of vibe that they try to create, where it's not, candlelight is beautiful, but it doesn't feel it feels like the stage and then the audience. Whereas I think these stories are, it's more theater in the roundy sort of thing, and you've got it. They sometimes call people up from the audience to somehow participate in the story, and it makes it just this much more small and intimate kind of performance that, in some ways, I think makes it more memorable. But that's me.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to go around. I think what maybe would work is to talk about each of the different parks and different parts of Walt Disney World and kind of like run down like some highlights and things like, we can share some stories of our own experiences there, and also like we'll share some pictures and just talk about sort of the different things that we like and how things have changed over the years too, because there's definitely plenty about Christmas, especially this year. And last year, I suppose, that have changed a lot in terms of what Disney does. Part of that, obviously, is COVID. Part of that is things they've changed for the 50th. But we'll start off. We've got some pictures of Magic Kingdom.
Yep, I took these a few years ago.
Shannon sent in this one especially of the icicle lights. That's just like, when I saw it, I was just like, oh my God, the icicle lights. For as much as like, there are good things about what they've done at Christmas this year, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I loved these icicle lights. And as soon as I saw this picture, it made me so nostalgic for that.
Yeah. And I think it's hard to say which I prefer. I think the projections are great. But I also think the icicle lights were amazing too. And you kind of do forget until you see a picture like that. Mm-hmm. And I was telling this story before we hopped on tonight. When I was planning my wedding in Disney World, a legitimate concern of my mother's was that crane was going to be a big arm next to the castle. And even though we didn't get married in front of the castle, we did get married at the wedding pavilion, and that castle is in the background. So that, because that crane was there like 9 months out of the year.
Yeah. I feel like any Disney like photography you have these days, you're going to run the risk of there being some sort of crane or other construction implement in the picture. It seems like everything.
Yeah. They were so great though. I do hope they come back. Although I'm kind of in that it really ticked me off when they, shoehorned Elsa into it, because it was such a cute story with Fairy Godmother, and it made sense because it was Cinderella's castle. And I always thought the show when they shoehorned Elsa in was really kind of weird it didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like Elsa just rolled up to visit Cinderella and was like, "Yeah, you need some ice on your castle." But
I mean,
I do
yeah.
want them back, and I hope the original show would maybe come back with them. I know that's probably a fleeting dream, but it was such a cute show.
So here we have the tree on Main Street, which is always lovely. And that I don't think has changed that much for this year. But this was the most exciting part to me about Christmas this year, is that the Christmas party is the one and only time you can witness an actual parade in Walt Disney World right now. So I know that's not so, and talking about like the Christmas show and stuff, the Christmas party was lovely. It was very lovely. However, the nearly $200 price point, which was basically to see a parade that you can't see anywhere else, and to get to be in the park for the Christmas fireworks. Which, let me just tell you, the Christmas fireworks were so amazing. Like, probably to me right now the best fireworks show in Walt Disney World. I don't know if I could argue that like beyond Walt Disney World, but it's better than Enchantment. It's better than Harmonious. It's better than the Christmas, what was it? Christmas Wishes.
Yeah,
The last Christmas fireworks show. It's so tremendously better. I used to think Christmas Wishes was kind of like a mess. It just seemed like there wasn't a lot of like design or thought process to it. It just seemed like a lot of things happening all at once. But the Christmas party fireworks, even if you don't go to the Christmas party, I highly recommend. What we actually did one night, I went with our production manager, Jake, last weekend, and some of his friends who were in town, and we had dinner at Steakhouse 71 at the Contemporary, and then we walked upstairs to the fourth floor viewing deck that's out on the park side of the building, and stood out there and watched the fireworks. And you can sort of see some of the castle projections, although the Christmas fireworks show isn't very heavy on projections the way that, say, Happily or Enchantment are. There's designs, kind of, the castle with like the, pinks and greens and candy cane stripes and all of that, but there's not story around it. So if you don't get to see all the projections, it's not a huge deal. But you get to see all the fireworks. You still can see Tinkerbell from the Contemporary, which is really cool. So that's like Christmas tip. If you don't want to spend the crazy obscene amount of money that I think the Christmas party tickets are, go to the Contemporary and watch the fireworks from there, because that to me is the best part of the Christmas party, at least this year. But the show, like, they have a stage show for the Christmas party, and it was okay. It felt very generic, but I don't know that I think it was better or worse than anything that came before it, but it wasn't the most remarkable, like, castle show I've ever seen. But yeah. And the other thing I will say about the parade is that all of the floats in the parade were kind of recycled from previous parades. So, we're jumping into Epcot. I don't know if are there other things you guys want to talk about, like Christmas party experiences or other fun Magic Kingdom stuff that is like your favorite Magic Kingdom things at Christmas time, at the holidays?
I mean, I think the Christmas parties are great. It's, and we've commented on before with all the parties, it's a little disappointing. I understand why they had to drive the price point up, but it seems a little hard to justify paying as much as you would for a full day at the park just for the
more
party.
Than that, actually. Yeah.
Well, yeah, in the case of the Christmas party this year, more than that, actually. And you're not, because they didn't do like free cookies and hot cocoa this year and stuff, did they? Or
No, they did. They had cookies and hot cocoa.
Okay.
They were individually wrapped cookies. They were
right.
individually wrapped shortbread cookies that were something like, it was, not an average size cookie. I mean, maybe like 3 inches in diameter, if that. And on the back of the package, because they're individually wrapped, they're like 300 calories for one cookie. Like, oh my God, what did they put in these things?
I mean, you're at Disney. Calories don't matter.
Butter.
Fine. But
I know, but then don't put the nutritional information right on the package where you can see it.
also a fair point. But
Pretty sure that thing was
I
just
don't know.
butter and sugar.
It sounds like, yeah. I mean, the Christmas parties are great, but and again, I mean, just sell less tickets. You don't have to keep driving up the price point for demand. I mean, you have no problem saying that they're sold out. But, I mean, they are great. They are, I don't know if I would say worth it, but they are something really special to do at least once. I think Jingle Cruise is also a really, really cute overlay that is
Jingle
very
Cruise is
much
wonderful.
beloved. Yeah. So that was
The
a really
last
creative
Christmas
addition over the past couple years.
The last Christmas party I went to was 19. And yes, they had the different cookies that you could go and do. That wasn't just shortbread. You know, you can go get a gingerbread or a pinwheel that was peppermint or something. But they also had the overlays on the rides. So they had the tea party overlay with the Christmas music, and then they had like lights on the auto, what is it called?
The Speedway.
Yes, Autopia. Thank you. Yes, the Speedway. They had that. It was a needed addition to that because, you know, at nighttime, it's not anything to really write home about. But anyway, I feel like, you know, it was definitely pre-COVID. It was a better deal than, like you said, Jill, because the price was lower. You got more things for it, and hopefully all of that comes back. But the one thing that I'm really nostalgic for that I wish that they had brought back would be the Snope on Main Street. And they haven't done that since I don't know when. I mean, I remember it as a child, but I don't even know if they did that pre-COVID.
Did they have
I'm fairly certain they did it a few years. I want to say, how long ago was it that my sister and I went? Was it?
I thought it was great because this year they're doing Snope on Hollywood Boulevard in studios,
right?
And it's just like in the middle of the day. I think studios used to have it down by Tower, but now it's like it's throughout, and it's really nice.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah, and I think, maybe not this year, but I think pre-COVID, they were still doing Snope on Main Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dawn just said this in the chat, and I feel the same way. It's weird. In life, I am Team Christmas, but in Disney, I'm Team Halloween. I just think the Halloween party, aside from this year, is so great, so amazing that the Christmas party always fell a little flat for me. But I do enjoy going to it every once in a while. Is it worth the price? No, I don't like the cookies and I don't like hot chocolate. So I think that's also what's a bummer for me. I wish they just did a little more.
And there's not
I think it's
meet rates either. I mean, those are kind of the other things that made it work. Because you get to see the princes with the princesses and the seven dwarfs. You know, we didn't get any of that this year at either party.
Yeah, I think that's the big problem is like they did less. It's not just that they raised the price, but they're significantly less than there was pre-COVID. And that's pretty disappointing that it's kind of like, oh, pay more and get nowhere near as much as you used to get. Oh, and
but again, Jingle Cruise is great. So
well, and Jingle Cruise is great. The thing that bothers me is, so this year, speaking of getting less, there are only 2 overlays. There is the
really?
Jingle Cruise. There's Jingle Cruise, and then there is Laugh Floor. And so Jingle Cruise, I feel like doesn't really count because you can do Jingle Cruise during the day. You don't have to have the party ticket to do Jingle Cruise. Which I get. They can't turn it on and off. Right. But the and the Laugh Floor overlay is cute. It's fun. It's the same as what we've had in the past with Laugh Floor overlays. But if that's all you get for your, like, there's not that much unique for your Christmas party ticket, I think. And I think that's disappointing.
Did they do the dance party with the reindeer this year?
They did do dance party this year. And if we want to show off, I think I can make this work to embarrass. Oh, I don't know if I can. It's coming in. I have the video, but it's coming in sideways.
Clear your head, it's fine.
That looks like a good time.
Oh, they had a
So there you go.
blast. They were hopped up on sugar too, but yes.
Oh,
As kids tend to be. Yeah, I
I
don't know
mean,
why the videos I'm pulling in don't seem to want to play audio, so I apologize for that. But we don't really have any other videos
that's
to show
okay.
off for you other than the end credits. But yeah, just picture that with like, Jingle Bell Rock going on in the background. That's basically what you're getting right there.
Yes. It's a fun
Um,
time for the kids. I don't know about adults
yeah.
so much as the children, but they really enjoyed it.
yeah.
And speaking of children, Stephanie, we've got, before we move on from Magic Kingdom, we've got some of your pictures to
Oh,
show off to
yes.
the
Well,
Oh,
So
to the
that
cute.
group.
it's funny that you said that about Elsa, Ashley, because that is exactly my daughters at that, time are huge Elsa fans, still are. And so that was one of the things that they had to go and see was Elsa light the castle. So
Oh,
I mean, it's
That's fun
fair.
though.
I get it. But I, I don't.
I agree with you. I would go for the original any day, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's Elsa fever.
Yeah,
Mm,
well there's that definitely. But we've got a few. Oh wait. Why is there we go.
there it goes.
Well, this is at Hollywood Studios. So this was actually
Okay.
the Jingle Bell Jingle Bam uh, dessert party. And this
Oh,
was a
I didn't know they did
yes.
character meet and greets for those.
Well, it was a surprise. It wasn't listed on the information on the website, and then Santa Goofy shows up. Now you can still see Santa
oh,
Goofy at Minnie's Hollywood and Dine, the seasonal Hollywood and Dine for Christmas. He still makes an
Mhm.
appearance there, but this was a fantastic, just the dessert um, display. What they had, it was all very well done, and you had individual tables that you could go and sit back at. You got a ornament to take home that was a metal ornament, so it
oh
was actually
Oh
wow.
very high
wow.
quality. And then you got a place to sit and watch, which I know Nick loves. The Jingle Bell Jingle Bam fireworks, so but he always talks about that. But yeah, that show, which is not the best show, I get that at Hollywood Studios, but it was still really really fun, and that
Yeah.
I think was a very good value. I hope they bring that back.
Yeah, there's definitely plenty of things that would be nice to see them bring back.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's I think we've covered Magic Kingdom pretty well. So I want to move on to Epcot. I know we've talked about Epcot a little bit already. Um, and Epcot obviously has Festival of the Holidays, which in some ways is a really great festival, and in other ways I think is a little bit of a leave something to be desired festival, in the sense of like the actual festival aspect of Epcot to me is kind of pretty lackluster. I think that like the food offerings are the most mediocre of any Epcot festival. And especially, I think this year was even worse than usual, where I think that um, like it seemed like half of the food booths only had dessert stuff. There were a couple different food booths that are basically only having dessert. So you've got, only 20 food booths instead of like the 40 some or whatever you have
Mhm.
uh, at Food and Wine, but then you also have, kind of less exciting offerings to me. There's like looking through the menus, I was kind of like, there's only like five things I want to eat in this entire festival. And I feel like if you only want to eat five things at an Epcot festival, something's got to be wrong.
Is that good?
Well, yes and no, because I feel like the holidays, you do think of like sweets and treats when it comes to the holidays. I wish, and this is something that I kind of wish for this festival, and even a little bit for Festival of the Arts, as much as I Festival of the Arts. I feel like they've kind of lulled themselves into every festival has to center around food, and it doesn't have to. Like Food and Wine obviously has to center around food. And it's great
Mhm.
to have some treats and everything and different drinks, but 9 times out of 10, a lot of it is recycled anyway, or at least it's not
Yeah.
different enough to where it stands out that it's completely different from festival to festival. So I would almost wish that they would kind of do away with the booths for Festival of the Holidays and do more decorations, do more storytellers, bring in more countries and talk about their traditions rather than just the nine. Like, do more stuff like that. You don't have to focus on just food. And I know why they do it. It drives sales. But, I mean, you could do cute merch and decorations and things like that to sell and, explain all their traditions behind these cool decorations. I don't think they have to be so food-centric.
Yeah, and let me tell you, like, the other thing that Festival of the Holidays is the worst at is merchandise, I think. And this year, to me, was especially awful because there was like a very small line of merchandise. There was like a Spirit jersey, a couple of t-shirts, a mug, a cookie jar, a magic band, a hat, like a knit hat. There wasn't a lot, and it was all Olaf and Sven. And so if Frozen isn't your thing, then there was no good festival merchandise.
Yeah, like where's my Figment cookie cutter?
Yes.
I would take
where's my Figment cookie cutter? That is what the people want. Yeah, those would have sold like hotcakes.
The thing that doesn't make sense. It's like, okay, at Food and Wine, you do 5 different lines of merchandise, pretty much all of which, by the way, you can still find in the parks because they didn't sell out of it. But it's Food and Wine, and I know it's the longest festival and it's the most popular festival, but like yesterday, I couldn't get a park pass for Epcot until like 2:00 in the afternoon because the park is mobbed. So like Food and Wine might be the more popular festival, but the park is jam-packed at the holidays. And guess what? People are holiday shopping. So why wouldn't you use that opportunity to create more like holiday merchandise to sell people when they're in the mood to shop?
Right.
I think
cool decorations. Oh, go ahead, Shannon.
I think the biggest problem is that this is pretty constrained. They're trying to shove this in the middle of other festivals, and it's probably the shortest running, right? Which in one hand, I think that makes it special. Like I have not, even though I've been down there for the holidays, I've not actually been down there when this festival is going on because it starts later in November, basically runs like a month. Whereas you have Food and Wine Festival, that's 6 months now. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely room for improvement, but I think maybe it does get shoved aside a little just because of the time.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like to that point, like if they're going to kind of phone it in on Festival of the Holidays and the result is that they spend more time and effort on Festival of the Arts, which I totally agree, Stephanie, is like one of my absolute favorites. Like Festival of the Arts, they go out of their way to make things unique and interesting in terms of the food offerings. I feel like there's always things that are like visually stunning, that are creative, that are different. And so if they need to phone in on the food booths for Festival of the Holidays to make Festival of the Arts better and more exciting, I will accept that as the trade-off.
But see, I don't think I'm ready to accept that because again, you're making money hand over fist. Yeah. You're driving up prices. Again, like the park is completely mobbed. Like you could easily justify doing something special. And again, you don't even have to do the food booth. Come up with some more creative merch. Not even just the Figment cookie cutter. Where's Figment's sweater? Where's his ugly sweater?
Yeah.
Yes. For 2 years now. Where's that sweater for sale?
That was literally the next picture I had queued up.
Could you imagine? It would be anarchy.
Oh, absolute anarchy.
Oh, sell out every year.
I think that would be the breaking point where somebody would snap at a reseller in the park in person.
Yeah,
is when they saw them like 4 sweaters.
They did at least, and I think this doesn't really count because it's the phone cases are the most phoned in thing that Disney can do in terms of like merchandising something. But at least there is a Figment Christmas sweater phone case this year. I'm really annoyed because I wanted to buy one for my mom, but they don't make it in her phone size. But at least they made something that they did that in the magnet because, you know, those are the things they can easily like print on demand and throw in the stores and have people buy. But like, where's the Figment Christmas sweater magic band? Like that's the thing I want. I think more than anything else is a limited edition box Christmas. Figment sweater magic.
The designs are already there. Somebody in Imagineering pretty much already came up with the design. You just have to translate it to merchandise. There's no development. There's no paying for illustrations. It's there. So again, to say that they can just phone it in, I mean, even not even on like the bigger scale of like Disney's not spending as much money anymore. Like it's got so many easy things that you could do that will in turn make you money because it's all merchandise that people will purchase. It's just I don't understand. It really is a shame that they don't go harder for it.
Yeah, and like I get like it's one of the newer festivals, but they've had plenty of time now to like ramp up and figure this out. And why you won't sell more merchandise at the time of year where everybody's buying gifts?
Everyone's shopping for not just themselves, but to go back home. And I mean, again, but even saying it's one of the newer festivals, I mean, time and time again, Festival of the Arts is only, 3 years old at this point? And
I think it might be 5.
Maybe,
I think last year was the 5th anniversary.
Good God. All right. Time flies. But, okay, 5 years. But even still, like, but from the very first launch of their merchandise, it's been fantastic every year, and as it should be because it's art. But I don't know. Like I wish I wish it would do better because I think it is a really cute little festival. It's, to your point earlier, the truest one to what Epcot actually is. And hopefully maybe they'll start plussing it pretty soon.
Let's hope. Although like at the same time, their crowds are so big that I don't know that they feel the need to because they've got so many people crammed into the park already that
They'll just let them fight over candlelight and have at it. That'll be fine. Have your cookie,
I do that too.
and go fight to get a seat at candlelight.
But so let's talk for a moment, if we can, about the things that Epcot does exceptionally well at the holidays. And one of them is putting a holiday sweater on Figment. And the other one is the Living with the Land.
Yes.
Because there are stockings in the lab. I just have to share. I rode the holiday overlay with Eric and Cookie Boss and our production manager Jake and a friend of his, and we like took over the first 2 rows of the boat and we're just singing the Randy Newman Christmas lights on fish like through half the ride, and I think everyone else on the ride probably thought we were crazy, but it was such an incredibly fun moment. But yes, like, and that's the weird thing. Outside of like the Epcot storytellers, the World Showcase storytellers, the other 2 things I absolutely have to do at Christmas in the parks is Living with the Land holiday overlay and Jingle Cruise. Like those are the 2 things that like if I don't get to do them at Christmas time, like it's a tragedy for me.
Yeah. Like I will say this though, like it's almost kind of to this point because they don't do a lot at Epcot, they're kind of like, yeah, sure, have fun. Put the sweater on Figment. Nobody cares. Do what you want with the Living with the Land overlay, which is like that makes it fun and special because they are given a little bit more latitude.
Yeah,
and hopefully I think they'll push the Yacht Club and get people to love it more.
Yeah, like I think Figment is like such an easy thing, a quick and easy thing to do that they just do it. And then I think with the land, like I do think they give the cast members like a little bit of creative freedom in the decorating, and that makes it a lot of fun. And so like you can tell they care about it when they do it.
I want to believe that sweater has a backstory, that someone's grandmother or even a cast member who enjoys knitting,
like
just
somebody just randomly, and maybe that's why we don't have merch. Maybe like there's some kind of licensing issue because Disney didn't actually create it.
Make the sweater.
Yeah.
I think we could like probably get it somehow work. It's like a work for hire or something. I don't know.
Right.
Disney, get your lawyers on
that. Or Etsy.
Yeah, right. If it's got a Disney IP on it, they'll just claim that it's their design anyway and shut you down. So, all right. Our next park up for holiday review is
Gertie.
Good old Gertie, which for those of you out there in WDWNT fanland who were able to get the Christmas Gertie t-shirt that we released, congratulations, because apparently they sold out within like a day. But I love Santa Gertie. And actually, it's nice this year. I don't think you can see it on this picture. And I can't zoom in the way we have these set up, but her ornament this year actually has a 50 on it. So they did like a little bit
So
of
cute.
they did a little bit of 50th anniversary stuff for Gertie as well, which I love. And then I don't think I have anything else from studios. I know you were talking earlier, Stephanie, about how much you love the vintage decorations,
Retro.
which I do as well.
Yeah.
I like, they're so fun. Although we were there right after Thanksgiving and we had lunch at Brown Derby. And so we were kind of like sitting on the wall, like in that little walkway where the peppermint girls, the 3 peppermint girls are in the bushes and they're facing the Brown Derby. And we were sitting on the like cement wall where the lounge was behind us. And so you're looking straight at them and I'm like staring at them and I'm like, when you stare at them too long, like they're staring back at you. I might have to have nightmares about this later.
Yes, I think I like it so much. Like I said, it reminds me of my grandmother because she really did have that Santa head on her front door. Like I remember it lit up and everything, and the vintage tinsel that's all silver and it's just different. I love the traditional look on Main Street. Don't get me wrong, but then that is just, you know, a departure. I love that. And then we had some little angels. I think my mother still has them somewhere that look very much like those peppermint girls. And yes, they are creepy too. So.
Can we take a moment for Osborne?
Yes, I was just going to say, like, that's the biggest and saddest change about the holidays at Hollywood Studios for sure is Osborne is gone.
I mean, I would argue the resort as a whole, like, that's the biggest loss I think we've ever suffered. That's holiday related, at least.
Yeah. I have the vaguest memory of when I was a teeny tiny tot of when Osborne lights were actually in the back lot. It was kind of like a walking. Am I making this up? I'm pretty sure this was a thing. So
no, you're not making it up.
Yeah, and that because that was, you know, then they kind of cut it down to just the New York street back there. But what an amazing thing! And it's actually it's kind of similar to what Epcot used to have. It was called like the Winter Wonderland lights or something, and it was
Dream lights or something like that.
Yeah, like big over the top lights. So I definitely, you know, Christmas is lacking in that respect in the parks, and hopefully, you know, one day they can bring that back.
I wish they would do it down Sunset.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, I know it would be probably a crowd control nightmare because 2 of your e-tickets are down there. But somewhere, like, again, for a park that, you know, Walt himself said we have a blessing of size. And I know that, you know, for the rest of the year, kind of wasted space. But to lose something that beloved and not put it somewhere else.
Well, so my understanding, speaking of it being somewhere else, my understanding is that Disney gave a lot of the lights to Give Kids the World. So a lot of the lights at Give Kids the World at their Christmas, their whole Christmas display
Night of a Million Lights.
Night of a Million Lights, thank you. Came from the Osborne family lights. And they actually have some of the folks who used to program the Osborne lights go and program the lights at Give Kids the World. So if you miss it tremendously and you want something close to that experience, I think Give Kids the World is the place to go.
Yeah.
And it's for a better cause.
Yeah, it looks incredible.
Yeah, but it's still very sad. Because it really
it's definitely. It's funny because it was never Osborne got big at a time when I wasn't really coming to Disney that much. So like it became this huge thing, and then Jason's like, "Oh my goodness, like we have to go see the Osborne lights." And I walked in and I'm like, this is it didn't feel Disney to me. I think that was the thing about it that like it just felt weird because I was kind of like, this seems like a really plussed up like holiday light display of like, but I could see similar things to this at home.
That's fair.
And I didn't understand. And I think I still don't understand. And there's probably going to be like, people are going to make terrible comments on this video of like, Jill, why do you hate the Osborne family lights? They were never for me because there was never a moment that like really like Shannon, you were talking about like having these vague memories when you were little. Like I don't have those with Osborne family lights. So there was nothing nostalgic about it for me. And then by the time I saw it, it was like a couple years later, it was gone.
Yeah, I guess for me, I tie it back to because my granddad, when he was still, he used to do huge light displays all over his house. And his house was a corner lot. Like we used to pull each other in a wagon and like pretend we were going to one of those drive-through light displays. Like he went all out, may or may not have actually accidentally burned down his garage because of them, but overloaded a circuit breaker, it's fine. But you know, so to me, walking around that corner and seeing those lights, now his never danced, I'll put that out there, but just it was a bajillion lights. But walking around that corner and seeing them sing and dance and everything, it was really cool to see it because it did kind of tie back to my actual childhood too. And then just creating new memories. I remember dragging my now husband to it when he came to see me when I was on college program and, you know, saying kind of like, you know, Jason with you, like we have to go see this. It's incredible. And he was, you know, he didn't really get it either. He's not big in, I mean, he loves Christmas, but he's not big into like decorations and lights and all that. And we rounded the corner right as the Trans-Siberian Orchestra Carol of the Bells was starting. And he got to watch the whole thing and he was instantly hooked. He loves TSO. But, you know, and so that he was instantly hooked. I had my college program roommate. She got engaged to her now husband at Osborne Lights because she loved them so much. And that was their first date, was going to Osborne Lights because they were both cast members. And so, I would argue, I understand why they're not for everybody, but it was something really, really special too.
They also had them. Sorry, Jill. They also had them lit up and music playing for the wine and dine half. And this was like OG wine and dine half where it was run at night. So that was actually, when I did that, it was the last wine and dine to ever be run at night because this crazy storm blew through. The race was cut short, whatever, it's a disaster. But being able to run through Hollywood Studios at midnight, some ungodly hour, and just run through the Osborne spectacle of lights was one of the most amazing memories. So that's
cool.
Nostalgic for me.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
See, this is the lesson, is you need to go and have memories of everything that happens at Disney. Lest you run the risk of not being nostalgic for something later. But so let's move on to park number 4, and something that I did not have memories of until this past weekend, which is the Merry Menagerie. I didn't get to see these in the parks before last weekend, and so I got to go and see, and they all came out, and there were reindeers and the little penguins, and like it was so cute. And the thing I loved about it, like this getting to be the first time I got to see them, is how like completely interactive they are in this way that like nothing else really, I feel like, quite like hits that level of, like, it's not even like old like character meet and greets pre-COVID where you got to go up and meet the character, but this is like they're out in that big area between the 2 big shops on Discovery Island, and they just like, they walk up to you, you can walk up to them, they interact with people, they're really good at interacting with little kids especially. they'll like stop and pose for you, or they'll let you take pictures with them. Like, and it's just so interactive, and like it's just so charming. And it's one of those things where it kind of feels like, and I'm a sucker for Finding Nemo the musical, RIP. But it's one of those things where like the puppeteer almost disappears, and you're so like focused on the fact that this is like an animal walking around the parks, even though it's a puppet, that it's just so like, it's so charming. And it feels, and I like, in the grand scheme of holiday stuff at Disney that doesn't feel, that feels holiday without feeling connected to like any particular holiday tradition. I think Merry Menagerie like really like steals the show in terms of feeling like something engaging, and they've made it feel so wintry, and they've also made it feel so appropriate for Animal Kingdom, that is just, I don't know. It's, I feel like it's really nice how it can bring everyone together, and everyone, like no matter who they are, like where they come from, how old they are, get so charmed by these animals that like it just, it feels very like spirit of the holidays of like bringing people together.
I completely agree, Jill. I got to see this in 2019. I think that was the first year they did it,
Mm-hmm.
pre-COVID there, and it was exactly as you describe it. You're in Animal Kingdom, so you're used to seeing the cast member. You go up to them, you talk to them about the animal. Like sometimes, right at the entrance, they'll have people, animals like the tarantulas or something like this that
Mm-hmm.
they're talking to people about. So you ask questions. I know, right? You ask
I
questions of the cast member
love that.
about the animal. And that is what I find. My kid, oh, they love that. But you find yourself doing that. These are puppets. These are not real fox or polar bear, but you find yourself kind of talking to the cast member in that vein because you look at the animal, the puppet, like a real animal, and it is so interactive. It's such a lovely addition to Animal Kingdom, and it fits in so nicely. And the other thing I really love at Animal Kingdom is the Tree of Life awakenings. If you stay,
Mm-hmm.
past dusk, you get to see that, and it's lovely. It's not very intrusive like a lot of the projections can be sometimes, and it's beautiful, just a pretty little stories.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I also like Dino Land randomly, in that kitschy, vintage,
So
fun
cute, like
Christmas kind of
weird.
vibe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so I like you get all this different stuff in Animal Kingdom that, you get a little bit of the fun stuff, and you get a little bit of like this really classy, beautiful holiday presentation. And it's
I
a
do
nice sort
miss the
of,
parade because I loved their Christmas parade. I mean,
yeah.
it
The
became a
Jingle
logistical
Jungle.
nightmare to get anywhere in the park, but it was really cool. Because again, I mean, they would have like the huge, almost like puppet floats that would go by, that were really, really cool.
I'll be honest, I'm someone who doesn't typically go to Animal Kingdom at night, which I feel like you just need to prioritize every once in a while. And when I did the
Mhm.
wine and dine half this last month, it was still dark in Animal Kingdom at that time of the morning, and I was blown away by how many Christmas decorations and lights they actually did have. I found that there's this giant snowman in Dino Land that I thought was so
Mhm.
weird. And I'm like, what is
Mm-hmm.
It's got a duck
this?
bill.
I wish I remembered to send that to you to post here because it was very bizarre. But definitely encourage everyone, take the time if you're there during the holidays to go at in the evening and see it.
Yeah, I think that's one of those sort of like hidden gems about Disney that a lot of people miss or don't think about, whether it's at the holidays or, I mean, it's harder outside of the holidays simply because it doesn't get dark late enough for you to be able to enjoy
Mm-hmm.
Animal Kingdom at night. But, starting to hit around like October, November, it starts getting dark before the park closes, and you get Tree of Life Awakenings. And yeah, it's such a beautiful experience.
I agree.
All right. And our last category for discussion, which I know we talked a little bit about this going into the beginning, is resorts and Disney Springs and all of the fun stuff they do. So this is, I believe was this yours, Shannon?
Yeah, this is Yacht Club. Obviously, it's a little older because it's pre-renovation
Yeah.
when Yacht Club
That's why
used
I
to be
couldn't
at
recognize it. I'm
Hollywood.
like, it's not Beach Club, but close.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of hard to tell in this picture, but I love how they have like the model boats, and they're not small. They're not Christmas ornaments. They're like actual boats that are, I don't know, like a foot long at least, that are all adorned inside the tree. And that's what
Hmm.
I was talking to in the beginning, where I love that level of detail. It's not just another Christmas tree that they rolled out of storage. Like, this is special, and it's something for you to go see at the Yacht Club or wherever
Yeah.
you may be.
Then we've got Disney Springs. So this is World of Disney this year, which, for as much as I don't love the renovation on World of Disney, this is kind of that big main sort of showcase area when you first walk in from the side where Emirettes is and Polite Pig and that side of the store. And they've been doing this throughout the holidays now, where they kind of set up a display and they've got the projections on the wall and all the displays up above all the shelves and everything. And this is like the most holiday feeling part of all of World of Disney to me. But I really like that they've at least made the effort to make like a big holiday section of the store where you feel like, okay, it might not be the whole store, but I walk into this like quarter of the store and it feels like Christmas here.
Yeah.
And then also it brings another favorite holiday overlay of mine, which is the Jack Lindsay's Hanger Bar
Love it.
holiday overlay. So it becomes
Mm-hmm.
the holiday Hanger Bar, and then their delicious milk and cookies, special holiday beverage and snack, which is, I think, horchata, and cookies, which are actually really quite decent. Uh, Props for the cookies. It's definitely a thing worth
Well,
getting and sharing with your friends.
they have the lumps of coal this year too, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those
Mm-hmm.
look so good.
I almost got those a couple weeks ago when we were down for Thanksgiving, but I wasn't hungry enough to be able to share it with me.
But the other, I think, big thing to talk about in terms of springs and things that have changed over Christmas is the tree trail. And so that's my question
Mm-hmm.
for you guys is, do you like it better the way they do it now with the trees spread out through springs, or do you miss the old tree trail where it was, that sort of back section and it was all just the trees?
I never got to see
So,
it the first way.
Okay.
I've only seen it the first way.
so I've seen it both, and I do kind of miss it the old way, where it was like an actual tree trail and you got to walk around and see all the trees. But at the same token, I do kind of like the little scavenger hunt that they're doing for it. I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was a really good idea to make it at least somewhat interesting since they couldn't do the full-on trail. The one thing that I wish, though, if you're going to do a scavenger hunt, don't make the plaques with the answers so big that you can see the answer before you even get to the
Yeah.
tree. And what's weird is like all of them have a label except like 3 of them. And then you're left debating what the last 3 trees are. Or is this even a tree like from the tree trail? Or is it like is it a decoration? Especially the one like right as you're coming down from, is it Orange Garage? Orange Garage. That's a tree, but it's not really
Yeah.
a tree because it's such a weird
Oh,
wall.
yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
metal kind of thing.
yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, cool, beautiful. My brother and I did the scavenger hunt together and kind of made it a competition. And we were really gung ho about it at first until we figured out that you could see the plaque with the answer before you got to it. Like, that's all I ask. Like, if you're going to do a scavenger hunt, like, at least make the answer a little bit more difficult to find.
Yeah, as opposed
It
to
really
like,
matters.
so
Fair.
I don't do a lot of the scavenger hunts, but I did the one at Festival of the Arts last year,
Mm-hmm.
and some of those were hard to find. I remember the one in the
Mm-hmm.
Mexico Pavilion, especially. Like, we walked around the Mexico Pavilion because they don't tell you whether it's inside the pavilion, outside the pavilion, and some of them are,
Right.
they're in all different places. it like we had to go back again at the end of it because we gave up the first time on trying to find the Mexico one, and it's like tucked over on the side, like by a like doorway to backstage or something, and it was like, oh, there it is. But like, yeah, there's definitely a please make it challenging, but don't make it so hard that I don't know what I'm doing
Yeah.
or that I don't have fun anymore.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I
a
suppose,
lot of them
you
were
know,
fairly obvious once you got to them, but it
they've
was
got to
still
make
fun.
it like, family friendly and like good for kids.
Yeah,
So they can't make it too hard, but they maybe shouldn't make
right.
it quite that easy.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I will say again, it was cute. I liked all the trees. I thought they were really well done. The Black Panther tree was actually really really cool because it actually
Hmm.
had like the panther coming out of it, and Wakanda. I think the palace from Wakanda is what it was up at the top as like the star, which was really really neat. I think that was probably one of my favorites. And then they did a haunted mansion tree that was really really cool. So I
That
mean,
was
they
my
definitely
favorite.
The
yeah.
Nightmare
I
Before
mean, they
Christmas tree too, with where it was like Oogie Boogie, that was really cool.
Yeah.
yes. I mean, again,
The
so yeah,
Moana
I mean,
one
they were
was
all.
really nice.
Mm-hmm. I kind of wanted to knock over the Disney Plus one. I'm not gonna lie, but so it was just sort of like really, like
Yeah, it's a little tacky.
it was so tacky. But I mean, it's about
Synergy.
finding an
Synergy.
IP. Well, you could have done like little TV. I don't know. Like it was just a bunch of like blue balls that had Disney Plus logos on it. Like
Yeah.
you didn't even try.
Like,
Anyway.
how cool would it have been if there were ornaments for like the different Disney Plus shows, like WandaVision and Mandalorian,
Mhm.
and like that would have been
Right?
cool if it was like, let's
I would have been really
showcase the
neat.
different Disney Plus exclusives that we've done. No, let's just, yeah, make it a
Yeah,
tree
it's
like
gonna be. It's fine.
full of logos.
Yeah. No, but I mean, overall, it was a really cute idea. I liked it. I know they don't do a whole lot anymore. I never did get to see the drone show. I'm really kind of bummed about that.
Yeah.
That's ever
Right.
coming
Yeah.
back.
No, I haven't seen it yet either.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I think I missed the tree trail. I thought it was neat that it was like it was a thing you went and did and you could see all the different trees. Although honestly, I think the trees they've done this year, a lot of them are more creative than the
It
things I saw.
definitely
Like
felt
I feel like
bigger and a little bit more.
yeah, I felt like it all used to be about the ornaments, and now they're actually doing things, I think, with the design of the tree itself to like integrate
Mhm.
the theme, the IP, whatever, into the tree. So it's not just let's slap 1,000, haunted mansion ornaments onto this. Let's
Mhm.
actually try to like make the tree feel like the haunted mansion. So I think they're doing a lot more with it. The other thing I don't miss about the actual tree trail, was it would get so crowded in there sometimes and people would just like
Yeah.
throng around the trees and they were always kind of like set off
Yeah.
against a wall or in a corner. And so you didn't have like sort of 360-degree view of the tree and people would block it and they would be taking pictures and it could take you like an hour and a half to get through the tree trail if you actually wanted to see everything there was to see. So I appreciate
Mhm.
that this feels more like broken up, and I also feel like it's something like more people actually get to see and enjoy because it's spread throughout Springs and not like kind of
Yeah.
off all the way in the one side.
Mhm.
Makes sense. Speaking of trees, my favorite grand trees are at the Grand Floridian when they have the large tree there, and
Oh
at the
yeah.
Wilderness Lodge and Animal Kingdom. Those are the biggest,
Yes.
best, huge display.
Hmm.
And then I would
Most
say Beach
pretty.
Club and Boardwalk and Yacht Club are like rounding out second place there with their individual. But you can find, I mean, even at Caribbean Beach, they have great decorations there. Different designs at every resort, really.
Hmm.
Mhm.
This year, I made a point. We were at the Contemporary. We made a point to walk out to the big tree that they have up in front of the resort, and that was kind of fun. I've never actually like walked up to the tree before and like made a point to go look at the tree. And so I think
Yeah.
there's just so much of that you can do at all the resorts and check out the decorations, and it's nice. It's one of those things that I think, if you're sort of the average family coming to Disney World, it's probably not something you think to do to go like visit the resorts. But it's definitely so like I feel like 50% of like the holiday decorations are outside the parks when it comes to Christmas time here.
Yeah,
Did
absolutely.
they not do the big gingerbread castle at Contemporary this year? Oh,
Oh,
No, and it's weird
sad.
because when like the where we went to watch the fireworks is right there, like up against those windows facing the park, and it looks like they moved furniture around, like they were like gonna do something, and I don't know what happened, but there's no gingerbread display in the Contemporary this
Right,
year.
which is
So
weird because they did it at Grand Floridian has theirs.
Beach
And then
Club has
obviously
theirs.
the carousel, yeah, and they have the carousel. So I wonder why they
Yeah.
didn't.
I don't know if something went wrong. I don't know if there are supply chain issues around gingerbread this year. Well, I know they make the gingerbread at Disney, but I don't know.
I
Is
was gonna say,
ginger
don't
hard
they
to
allegedly make
get?
it there? Like now I have questions.
No, and I
I
think they
mean,
do actually make the gingerbread there, but like,
I think they
did
do.
they not get enough ingredients to make the gingerbread? I don't know. I feel
Or
like
maybe they
everything is
wanted
supply.
Incredibles theme.
Maybe they were
ooh,
trying to
Yeah,
make
maybe
the
there
no.
was a
Incredibles
fight
thing.
over theming,
There was a huge fight,
and
and they
somebody
just
was
said,
like,
"Fine, we're not doing it at all."
I was gonna say, like, no, we can't, Bob. Somebody will set it on fire if it's incredible. So we're not doing it.
But then we'll just
People
blame
will
Jack
eat it.
Jack. It'll be fine.
Oh, that's true. That would have been nice.
Oh,
Oh,
apparently they
Adventures
didn't
with
do the
Alicia.
Gingerbread Village at Boardwalk either.
Oh
That's sad.
no, they
Oh,
So,
didn't.
yeah.
yeah,
Labor
Brandy
shortage.
says labor
That
shortage
could be it.
perhaps, which actually is
They could have not
probably
had
most
enough
likely true.
bakers to actually,
Yeah,
because I mean that is a ton of work.
yeah.
To be fair,
It's a ton of work, and Disney is definitely short-staffed in a lot of places these days. And I think that is something that I think is very apparent during the holidays. Where I went to Animal Kingdom at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which granted, I know is park hop hours, but they only had four tap styles open in the front of the park. And there was a line from the tap styles all the way back past the ticket booths to get into the park at 2 o'clock in the afternoon because they don't have enough people to have enough tap styles open. Or even being at Epcot where every park pass is taken and the all of World Showcase is jam packed with people for festival stuff and the lines are huge. They have 3 registers out, but only 2 people working them. So it's definitely, I can absolutely see that the labor shortage is probably the main cause for why not all the gingerbread got done this year.
And when you're
Most
making all those
likely.
specialty cupcakes, you don't have time for gingerbread.
Yeah, that's true.
I will say, not to go back to things that were disappointing about the Christmas party again, but they only had like 4 specialty snacks at the Christmas party, and not a single one of them was anything like I had any interest in getting. Like there was some churros. They were Orange Bird churros, which sounded fun because Orange Bird, but A, I'm not sure what that has to do with Christmas. But B, they looked gross. Like somebody got one. They were at the cart, the not the popcorn cart, the one on the other side of the hub, and it looked like they had like some sort of like icing drizzle on them, and it just looked like melty and gross. And we were like, oh, never mind, we're gonna skip those.
That's disappointing.
It
It
was
is
a little
disappointing.
What can you do? Better snacks, Disney. Better snacks. Less like maybe try to do fewer but better. I think that's
Right.
the advice there. Less is sometimes more. Okay, so I think we've run through the gamut of Disney World. Does anybody else have holiday fun stories, memories, favorite things about Disney at the holidays they want to share?
I always thought it was neat as a kid with the Christmas parade that you're talking about, the Very Merry Christmas parade, I loved
Mhm.
how Santa at the end would call out people's names. And when Magic Band
Oh,
came along, I was like, oh, are they going to call out people that are sitting along the parade route, like their actual names? That would be amazing.
that would
So
be
It's like
I don't know
Small
that
amazing.
they
World.
ever, yeah, and like Small World, exactly. So I don't know if they can still do that, but that would be so cool.
Yeah, you would think that that would be technology they could pretty easily, like, I would have to think
Right,
some
with like
sort
the
of, like,
RFID
iPad
and
with an RFID thing on it, like the same. You
Exactly.
would think they would be able to do it. That's a really cool idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I do wish that they made, because one thing that's kind of on my bucket list is, which I don't even know how you would do it anymore, but to actually be part of the chosen crowd for the filming of the Christmas
Oh,
parade when they're
yeah.
doing filming for like the actual Christmas Day parade.
Yes.
Because it used to kind of be if you got early enough to the parks that you could get in to be one of the extras on the routes and everything. And now I don't even know how you go about it.
So I
Because they
saw
don't
a
even
sign up.
really announce it anymore.
I don't know about the Christmas parade, but I do know for the filming of the Christmas special, they had a sign up and you could go and on the website put your name in. You had to be
Ah,
vaccinated. That was one of the
Oh.
requirements. Now, when we were there in 2018, we stayed and got to see the filming. They just did it one night. They didn't have, of course, this was pre-COVID, but they didn't have any
right,
restrictions on that. And it was open till 1 a.m. And we just ran through the parks and it was amazing. Got to hear the performers singing on the stage, be part of the
right,
crowd and everything. So it's a fun experience if you get to do it. Absolutely.
right. Yeah, but it seems like they like change how you get to be a part of it every year, every few years, and it always just seems like I get like it's kind of special to be at random, but at the same token, for people who have it on their bucket list, it would be nice to know to at
Right.
least have a clue
When?
on how to
Yes.
participate. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, we'll make sure next time if we find out next year, Ashley, we sign you up and let you know.
Audrey and
That
I
is your
will be
bucket list.
there.
That is your
That's great.
bucket list. We will facilitate. Okay, well, with that, I think we will wrap up the show. I want to say happy holidays to everybody out there in the audience. Thank you all for watching us. I know a lot of you are regular fans who watch this show every time we're on. We appreciate you joining us. Happy holidays to all of my fellow panelists, Ashley and Shannon and Stephanie, as well as our other panelists who join us on a regular basis. Thank you guys all for making this such a great show and a great experience every time we do it. It's been such a fun new experience to get to do here at WDWNT and bring our audience, I think, a little different slant on some of the Disney content, and I appreciate that. And by all means, go ahead and if any of you have special holiday wishes you want to throw out there, please do.
No, just to echo what you said, Jill. Thank you so much for being an amazing co-host and helping bring this all to life in a successful first year, I would say. And to Shannon and Stephanie and Emma and Desi and everybody else that's been on, Marcy, everybody. If I've left somebody out, I'm so sorry. But just everybody that's been a part of the show this year, thank you so much. To those of you watching, we greatly appreciate you. It's been a blast. And just really looking forward to doing it again in 2022.
I want to say thank you to both of you. I think this was a fantastic idea and execution has been great. It's been a joy to meet everybody and I really feel like I've made some great friends here and everybody in chat, you have a special holiday memory, whether it be Disney or not, leave a comment below and let us know what your favorite holiday memories are.
Yeah, I mean, you guys well said, all these ladies. Thank you all for tuning in, and yeah, leave those comments. And we love, throwing different ideas out there for topics for the show. We have a whole new year ahead of us, so if there's anything you want to see or talk about or share your stories, write in, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Thank you all with that. Oh, and a reminder. So we are obviously, I think, won't be around in 2 weeks because that is right in smack in the middle of between Christmas and New Year's and all that good stuff. So, and then coming back in the new year, I believe our first show, I don't believe, I know, our first show will be coming back on January 17th. So we'll still be Mondays at 8 p.m. and our first show in the new year is January 17th. So we look forward to seeing you all soon and hope you are well until then. I'm sure most of, if not all of us, will see you around on other shows, whether it's News Tonight or Park Center, Deep in the Plus, all of our other content. So we'll see you and you will see Ink and Paint again on the 17th. And until then, thank you all. Happy holidays. Take care and see you in 2022.
Bye,
Night,
everybody.
everyone.